Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to today's Daf. BECHOROS Lamed. We begin at the Mishnah, which is around 20 lines from the top of the Amud. So, some more examples of mumin, of blemishes, of qualifying blemishes, which allow the Bechor, rather than being taken to the Beis HaMikdash as a carbon, it lets it be shechted anywhere. Here goes. Says the Mishnah, Choitmai, Shenika. So his nose has a hole, V'shenivgam, it's nicked, it's missing, V'shenizdak, missing a piece, or split, Sfamai, or Sfasai, according to others. So its lip, likewise, Shenikva, has a hole, Shenivgam, got nicked. Shenizdaka split. Tanurabanan, says the Gemara, has to be visible from the outside. Nikvu Choitmin, Zeltech, so his nostrils have this, hole going through. Mibachutz, if it's visible from the outside, so it's the outer wall going into the cavity, harizamum, it's a qualifying blemish, because that's one of the preconditions, that the mum has to be visible from the outside, as per the pasuk, kol mum ra, it has to be visibly blemished. But mibifnim, if it's on the inside only, so let's say it's on the dividing wall between the two compartments, it doesn't qualify as a mum. Likewise, fasai, his lip, shenikva, shenifgama, shenizdaka, amar papa. You meant to know that it's, again, on the exterior, Torah, the row, bara, outside, the outer layer, the sifsei of his lip, meaning the split, all that has to be on the outside as opposed to on the inside. Says the Mishnah Chutin, going to Rashi, these are the gums in which the teeth of the animal are situated. Chutnachet, the ones that are to the front of the mouth, visible. Shenivgamu, shenigmamu, they're nicked, they're nigmamu, they've been sort of like notched. The Rambam Pirush Mishnah learns that they sort of disintegrated till there's almost nothing left. So different pshatim, either notched on the top or just worn out. In any case, it's damaged, and that qualifies as a mum. But hapnimim versus the internal, the gums, the back of the mouth, which aren't visible from the outside, shenekru. There, it's only an issue if it's totally uprooted and gone, in which case now it's visibly damaged. Rabbi Chanina Tinus Omer, ein boitkim tiyamis lefnim. Tiyamis are those teeth, sort of towards the back, which are like double-edged teeth. That's why it's called tiyamis. Tiyamis, like a lulav, the middle leaf, which is a double leaf, like a ta'im, like a twin. So we don't need to check from that point onward towards the back, because it's out of sight, it's concealed. V'afleis hatiyamis, and likewise tiyamis itself, again, would not pose an issue of mum because it's concealed. Tanur Mishnah speaks about hatiyamis. What is that? Eze otiyamis. Min hatiyamis v'lefnim. According to Tanakama, the first shita in the Brisa now, starting from those double teeth towards the back, that's concealed at a side, not an issue. But tiyamis atzmak v'lefnim. Likewise, the gums underneath the tiyamis itself are regarded like the external ones, the interior ones, and don't pose a mum concern. That's Tanakama. So from tiyamis onward, Rabbi Shimon Kapotzoi Omer, ein shechten ela chitzoynes bavad. The only time you can allow shchita is if there's an issue in the outer ones, the ones towards the front. Rabbi Chanina ben Tinus Omer, ein mashkichan al tiyamis kalikar. Don't pay attention to those double teeth; they don't pose an issue. Now, Micah Amar, what does he mean by this? Vesu. Furthermore, we have a repetition in this brisa. Tanakama says only in the back, and so does Rabbi Shimon Kapotzoi. Vesu. Furthermore, Rabbi Shimon Kapotzoi, who says only check towards the back, Hainu Tanakama is exactly mirroring the opinion of Tanakama. So why is the brisa presented as three shitas? The brisa should be learned as though it's missing some words, and you read it as follows. Tanakama starts that what's considered tiyamis is pnimis. What's considered pnimis? So he's referring to the halacha that we had in the Mishnah as well, that only pnimis poses an issue, the ones in the back. What's the starting point? Starting from the double teeth towards the back. Likewise, those double teeth are considered far enough out of sight and regarded it as the back of the mouth. When do we discount any mum in that area because of its concealment? If it's just, nicked and notched or whatever. Aval necro, but suppose it's totally absent, totally removed. So that could be seen even from the outside because it's such a, pronounced different. And therefore, sheichten, you could do the shechita based on that. That is Tanakam. So true, the ones in the back are less reckoned with, but if they're totally damaged, then we reckon. Rabbi Shimon kapotzu aimer. No. Ein sheichten elal chitzonis. Shechita of bechor is only allowed based on the damage to the front ones. Aval pnimiyos, but the ones in the back, even the shenekru, even if they're totally removed, mishchat alayu l'shachtina, you can't shech based on that. It's not enough of a mum, but granted, it's not an unblemished animal. It's not a perfect animal. If suli mipsel becomes disqualified from hakrav on the mizbeach, so it's sort of an in-between state. It's in limbo. The brisker rub they bring, he says that it's based on the pasuk mivchar nedreichem. It's got to be the best of your animals. Okay, so you can't use it as a carbon, but nonetheless, it's not a mum to allow shechita outside the Beis Hamikdash. That's the two opinions. Rabbi Chanemis Nantinus Oimer Ein Mashkichen Al Tiyomis Kal Ikar. He takes it a step further. He says, don't pay attention to what's going on in Tiyomis. Va'afilu Ifsulu Ifsli means to say, totally discount any blemishes there from there on back because it's just as if it doesn't exist and there's no issue. Even you could even put it on the mizbeach. Okay, so these are the three shittas. Now comes a new discussion. Boy, Rabbi Chadva Barami, I have a question. Yesh mechusar evim bifnim. Suppose one of the internal organs of the animal is missing a kidney, surgically removed, or some sort of medical procedure, maybe a medicine or something that dissolved it. Okay, so he's missing an internal part. Is it considered blemished? Or perhaps not. Just because it's missing something on the inside, it's not an issue. Regarding what are we asking? Lamai, pertaining to what? You're wondering whether it's a disqualifying element in a bechor, in which case you can shecht it anywhere? It's like any mum? No way. The pasuk specifies crippled, blind, has to be visible, as opposed to inside. Ilukachin. You'd like to know whether it disqualifies for any other carbon? Aver se shavar ksiv. Likewise, the pasuk there speaks about specific blemishes, blind, broken bone, something visible. Otherwise, not an issue. You're right. No question that I can't shech the bechor based on this, nor ifruki, I can't redeem a shlamim based on this. It's not really a mum, but perhaps it occupies that sort of in between position, similar to the previous Gemara. The question says it's disqualified from bringing a carbon on the Mizbeach Mai. How would you look at it? I understand it's not an outright mum, but the pasuk specifies it has to be complete, full, whole. Tamim yeh l'ratzon amar Rachmana. Torah describes the carbon as being tamim, complete, whole, full. Tamim in, only that works. But chasar and lev, it's missing. Even internally, perhaps that's an issue. You can't bring it as a carbon. Or it's one and the same pasuk, which starts tamim yeh l'ratzon, has to be complete, as opposed to pasuk specifies, in contrast to a real mum. Kol mum should not be a boy. So the opposite of tamim is a mum, and this is not a mum. Ma mum mavroi, just like the mum has to be on the outside visible, as established before. Achisar mavroi, likewise, even this missing organ is not an issue, only if it's missing on the outside. Tashmei comes a raya. We seem to have a machlikas on this topic. The pasuk regarding a shlomo speaks about the two kidneys put on the mizbeach, indicating that the animal has two kidneys. What if it only has one? What if you discover three? That doesn't work. V'loi bal kol ya'achas, as opposed to a goat with just one. V'loi bal shalosh kulis, or three. So brisa number 1 disallows anything but 2. Tani idach, comes another brisa, which speaks about refers to a pasuk, Yisireno, ala klo yisireno. Yisrena is singular, indicating that even one kidney suffices. And we learn the Rabbis Kabal Kuya Achas to include even a one-kidneyed goat. We have a seeming contradiction between this and the previous brisa, which disallowed anything other than standard two. Sabruah, so the Bnei Yeshiva figured, perhaps this is the point of disagreement. Let's make some established facts. The Kuliyam all, both brises will agree, Ein Bria B'achas. He's not going to be born with one. We assume it's not a natural phenomenon. And the fact that he's down to one indicates that somebody tinkered with it. It was a man-made situation. And the machlokes is whether it's a disqualifying factor, as per our discussion. Lema, perhaps we can suggest, the machlokes revolves around this point. The Mar Savar Chesaron Rifnim Shneim Chesaron. The second price, the first price, which disallows a single kidneyed goat, that's because missing limb, even on the inside, is a problem. Umar Savar, the second price, says it's okay. Chesaron Mifnim Lo Shmei Chesaron, it's not an issue. So perhaps this is the point of disagreement. Omar Chibar Yisef, no, the Kol Yam Leish Achas. Let me re-explain the machlokes. All agree it's possible for a goat to be born with one kidney. It's possible. V'chesaron Mifnim Shmei Chesaron. On the other hand, if there's actually something missing, something removed from the inside of the animal, it would be a problem. Okay, so what's the machlokes about? Lekash. The question is, what are we talking? What's the circumstance? The brisa. Each one reflects its own unique circumstance. I'm talking about the same case. This one is natural. This one is man-made. Lekash kan shenivra b'shtayim v'chasra. The first brisa, which disqualifies a single kidneyed goat, speaking that it was born with two, and then it went down to one. That's a problem. Kan, the second brisa, which allows it, kshenivra b'achas mikar, speaking that it was born with just one, and of course that's okay. It's not called chisaron. That's the way it came. So the first brisa, which doesn't like the single kidneyed, is speaking that it initially had two and then it was removed. Says the Gemara, but that brisa represented two separate scenarios, a single kidney and a triple kidney. And we assume when the brisa speaks about two cases, they reflect similar circumstances. Now the three kidneyed goat certainly wasn't man-made; it was born that way. So let's assume the single kidneyed was also born that way, rather than being born with two and then having deleted one, as per your suggestion. It doesn't seem from the brisa we're talking about a man-made situation. Rather, we're talking about a natural situation. What we're doing the shalosh katan, the brisa, which speaks about a single kidney, is similar to the one with the three kidneys. Ma shalosh mikor af achas mikor, just like the three happen naturally, likewise the single one. So let's veer away from your suggestion. Ella, rather, here comes another pshat. Perhaps the machlokes is exactly this. Can we assume that a goat can be born with a single kidney? Mar savar yesh bir ba'achas, the second brisa, which allows a single kidney, holds that you can be born with one. That's what happened. Umar savar ein bir ba'achas. Whereas the first brisa says it's impossible to be born with just one. The fact that he has one indicates that something went wrong, something went missing. Due to illness, right? For Rabbi Yechon Amar, Rabbi Yechon has another pshat. The kuliyam ein bir ba'achas, all agree, no animal is born with a single. On the other hand, v'chesaron b'fnim, shmei chesaron, a missing organ, even in the inside, is disqualifying. Like kasha, so what's the machlokes about? How do we explain it? So all agree, it was deleted later. But it's a timing question. When did it happen? Kan, the first brisa, which doesn't allow it, shechasru kadem shchita, was speaking that it was removed before shchita, which disqualifies it. Kan shechasru lacha shchita. The second brisa, speaking that happened after shchita, he shechted it whole and complete, and then he pulled out a kidney. So it's in safe territory, it's okay. Says the Gemara, we're not out of the wood yet. What do you mean? The animal has to stay intact until Kabbalah, maybe even until Zrika, we'll see. Until you finish the Hakrava process. Can La'achar shchita kodim Kabbalah mishari. Ula'achar shchita, even if it happened after shchita, but it was before you received the blood, could you proceed to be makar this missing carbon? It's one continuous process. It has to be intact throughout. V'amar Rav Zera, we turn to Talmud Beis. Amar Rav, he quotes Rav, Atzoyrem oizna par. A person nicks the air, damages the air of the cow after it was slaughtered in the Beis Hamikdash. V'achakach kibodom, and then he received the blood in the container. Pasol, why shenemar v'lokam dam par? The Kabbalah has to be from that original par. Ha-par shahayakar, the way it was before. So it has to stay intact until after Kabbalah. You're right. Ella kan shechasur kadm Kabbalah. Let's go back to those two brises. The brisa which disqualifies due to the missing kidney, speaking that it happened before Kabbalah, which freezes the process, freezes it in place. It's no good. Kan shechasur lacha Kabbalah, the second brisa which allows it, is speaking that it happened after Kabbalah. You're in safe territory. So as the word, we're not yet safe until after Zrika. La'acha Kabbalah kodim Zrika mishari. If it was missing between Kabbalah and Zrika, you can proceed. Vatani, you have a brisa. It's got to be intact all throughout until you finish everything. The Shechita, the Kabbalah, the Halacha, and the Zrika. Vatani, set tamim zachar ben shana. Yelachem. So the pasuk is talking about the Korban Pesach. Set tamim zachar, right? Ben shana. Within a year, right, of his birth, prior to the first birthday, Yelachem. And we learn Shir Tamim Ben Shana B'Shah Shchita. Okay, so during the Shchita has to be complete, unblemished, and the right age. What about Umanayim B'Kabbalah? V'Lacha V'Hazaya? Bezrika, different gersa here. So, does that requirement apply to the Kabbalah, Halacha, and Zrika, the receiving of the blood, transporting to the Beis Hamikdash, applying to the Mizbeach, and applying it? Talmud Bavli, yep. Yeah, and the pasuk tells you it's one big continuum. Sheyu kol hava Yosef tam ben shana. Yeh means that all the steps of his process, of his hakrava, you should maintain the tam status and the menshana status all throughout, even until the zrika. And you're telling me that if it was missing before zrika, it's okay? Tirgma ben shana. So the Gemara answers this requirement that it stays throughout the zrika. That's only on the age factor. The pasuk referred to two factors: complete, unblemished, right, and the age factor. The age factor has to remain that way until after the zrika, but the tam factor does not. In which case, even if it was damaged before Zrika, it's okay as long as it was after Kabbalah. Achiram mistavra. I'll even prove to you that there's no need for the animal to stay complete and whole until later. The Tani B'Shua Eimer, he teaches us there's even a bit left over. A kazayas of the basar of the carbon, or a kazayas chaylev of the fat, that's good enough to bank on zerk, so that you can proceed with his Zrika. Shema Minos, that's a clear raya. Even if most of it's gone, as long as you have some shiur of significance, you can proceed. Ask the Gemara, okay, so, but the age factor has to remain that way until there's Rika? How's it possible? Mika. Midi, how can you have a situation that suddenly turned 1 year old? Between the Shchita and the Zrika, it's all the same day. You have to do the Avodas by day. So how could between 10 and 10:15 he turn 1 year old? During the Shchita, Shana, still within the year, under a birthday. But once you get to the Kabbalah and the Ilacha, that's it, he's Ben Shtei Shana, means he's 1 year old, into the second year. How could it change midday? Amarabba, yeah. Zois Ameris, we can deduce from here, Shois. Hours play a role, play a factor. Poisles, they disqualify Bekachim regarding Karbanis. Which means to say that, let's say he was born 10 o'clock a year ago, one must ensure that he's fully processed before 10 o'clock the next year. So you can have the shchita before 10, and if he tarried and delayed the rest until after 10 o'clock, too late. He's over age. Okay, so we made an attempt. We thought we were going to find two brises disagreeing about the question that was posed earlier, right, which was, what's the status of a missing organ inside? And we offered alternate explanations to the brises. But now comes another attempt. Perhaps this question is linked to a different machlekes tanoim. What is the question? Do we reckon with internally missing organs? Is that considered a mum? So we have another pasuk speaking about other blemishes with respect to the reproductive organs of the male animal. So there are the beitzim, testicles, and we have the gid, which is the actual organ. The pasuk refers to it as like this: 4 different forms of injury relating to that area. Umoch, the beitzim were crushed. Ukasus, even more severely crushed to the point of dissolving. V'nosuk, the beitzim were manually pulled off, detached from the actual animal, but still lying in the sack. BECHOROS, detached completely with a knife, but again, still in the sack. And Rashi says, uring tsas. Koros actually refers to somewhat, they're still somewhat connected, so it's not as detached as nosuk. All these are considered blemishes which disqualify the carbon from akrava. Kulma beitzim. These 4 conditions relate to the beitzim. Div Rabbi Yuda's opinion. Ask the Gemara. As opposed to what? The beitzim b'lei b'gid, as opposed to the gid? If anything, the gid is more revealed, and should be a qualifying mum than the beitzim, which are somewhat concealed in the sack. Ema af b'beitzim. Div Rabbi Yudah says not only in the gid which is exposed, even on the beitzim it's considered a mum. Second opinion, he says, only on the gid. Rabbi Yossi Omer, I'll strike a compromise. 2 and 2. Moch v'chasus, these 2 conditions, after beitzim, even on the beitzim qualifies a mum. But nasa BECHOROS is not as severe as the severe an injury, and therefore it only qualifies if it's more in the open begid. In, yes, but beitzim, but not in the beitzim, because it's not such a visible, these aren't such visible conditions. So what's the machlekes about? Perhaps the machlekes is whether chisaron mebifnim shmei chisar. How? The mar, let's go back to the first sheet, Rabbi Yudah. All conditions are applicable even to the beitzim. He holds savar, he holds chisaron mebifnim shmei chisar. A missing limb internally qualifies. Consider chisar. In which case, even if the injury is on the beitzim, disabling the beitzim, destroying, that's considered a mum. Even though it's somewhat concealed in the sack. Umar savar loish me chisar. Rabbi Lezman Yaakov takes the other approach, the opposite. He says, no, it's not chisar, because it's in the inside, so it's not an issue if it's on the beitzim, only on the gid, which is visible. Ask the Gemara B'tisper, how could you suggest this as the reason for their disagreement? Because, good, you've explained Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. What about Rabbi Yossi? Rabbi Yossi, he says, well, these conditions apply to the beitzim as well. These, either way, either or. Do you hold chisaron b'fnim is a chisaron or not? How could you split the cases? Rabbi Yossi, what does he hold? If he holds internally missing, is considered a mum. I feel a nasa BECHOROS nami. So even nasa BECHOROS, detached, completely detached, somewhat detached, those 2 can apply to the beitzim because it's an injury to the organ, which is a mum. Because savar loish me chisar, if he holds like Rabbi Lezman Yaakov, has to be external as opposed to internal, then I feel moch v'chasis nami lois. Even moch v'chasis should not be considered a valid mum on the beitzim, which are hidden. How do you explain the machlekes? You're right. Let's veer away from that suggestion. It's not about the chisar b'fnim question. It's just a question of visibility. So one has to be out in the open, right? Rashi explains, it's not really a chesaron here. Chesaron means it's totally missing. Something missing. It's damaged. It's injured. Okay, so now We have to follow the established mum guidelines, which requires a mum to be A, irreversible, and B, visible, exposed. Is this considered exposed? It's in the sack, but it's discernibly damaged, but it's not so visibly damaged. That's the question. The question is on definitions. At what point do we say it's visible? More than not. The question is, which ones are considered revealed and exposed? Rabbi the Savar, all four conditions, even on the Beitzim, qualify. Ultimately, you can see it's discernible from the outside as well. Rabbi the Savar, moch v'chasas havimuma. These crushed testicles are considered imum. The mekavtzim, because they're shrunken, they're shriveled. You see that even from the outside it's discernible. But nasach v'charas havimuma, those two also. Nasach v'charas, which are detached from the animal, they're also havimuma. Why do I tell? Because you see that it's hanging loose. It's not properly positioned. Rabbi Lezbek of Savar says, no way. Moch v'chasas, that's not a mum. They have a mumma. Shriveled. Even when they were healthy, sometimes they can shrivel and shrink. So it's not a discernible mum. And likewise, nasuk b'karas nami leva mum. That's also not a mum. B'kar nami is a Italian. You're saying it looks detached. You know what? Even when they're healthy, sometimes they appear so. So it doesn't qualify. Rabbi Savar, he says, we'll strike a compromise. Moch v'chasas, which are the most severe injuries, havimum, that qualifies, because that's visible from the outside. The less no, they're gone. You see, they're missing. They're dissolved. So it's discernible from the outside to the point that's considered a mum. But nasuk v'karos, leva mum, those two are not a mum. There isn't, because ultimately he has it. It's just dislodged, and that's not so discernible from the outside. Okay, so in a nutshell, we had a shayla regarding a missing organ from the inside. A sarm b'fnim, is a qualifies a mum or not. We had a couple of attempts at linking the shayla to the machlekes tanaim regarding the kidneys of the shlamim. That didn't really work out. And regarding the injuries just mentioned, but we came up with an alternate pshat. So we leave it unresolved. Next Mishnah. More examples of qualifying mumin. Nivgam hazoivam. What got damaged? The zoivam, the sac in which the male organ is situated, area, or the lip of the female area, shal nekeva. B'mugdashin, obviously, we're not talking about a bechora, which can only come as male. We're talking about other karbanos, like a shlamim. So the female area was damaged. Nivgam ha'zonav min ha'etzem. We have the tail that was nicked at the bone. Avalim min ha'perek, as opposed to between the sections, that will recover. Roish zonav mefatzel, esa etzem. Another type of mum is the bottom of the tail. The bone was exposed, not going to reheal. There's some too much bas or flesh too much space between these sections of the tail. Mulei etzba, finger width. Here it means a thumb width. Amar b'lozo nifkam b'lei nital. The sac around the gid was damaged. That's an issue, but loy nital, if it was totally removed, that will recover. Interesting. Sometimes more severe damage, right? Well, kis v'lei zachrus. We're speaking about the sac again, but not about the actual zachrus, the Eber HaGid, because if that's damaged, that will recover. We have the same in a brayso. Tanya mihochi, nifkam b'lei nital, nick but not totally removed. Kisloi zachrus, a sac but not the zachrus. There was a story. Masa be'inbal, place it in inbal. Some change it to ein bul, a certain kind of place. Echad or be'echad, shenot le'zeif, v'chad le'sana. Yeah, a wolf snatched the sack, ripped it off the animal, and recovered. Nivkim azana minetz. So we have the large gap between the sections, amalei etzba, that poses a concern. Now, which etzba? The pinky, middle finger, the thumb, different size fingers. The answer is the thumb. Tana, etzba shamra. When we speak about an etzba, in this regard, it's echad me'arba b'tefach shkol adam. It's a fourth, it's a quarter of a tefach. So that must be the thumb. Four of which make up a tefach. Because if it's a pinky, it's 6. If it's a middle finger, it's 5. So we're talking about a thumb. So regarding what matter did the Chacham establish this rule, that a etzba equals a thumb? So there are 3 applications. Amar Ablin Tchelis regarding the mitzvah of tzitzis, blue strings regarding the tzitzis. Sanya. How many strings does one apply to his four-cornered garment? 4, which are doubled over into 8, as we do. It's 3, which are doubled into 6. There are several pshatim on this. Rashi over here learns in the first pshat how much space between the edge of the garment and the hole into which they insert the strings. You don't do it at the edge, you do it up in the beged. Others learn that we're talking about the wound part of the strings. How long is that? Tosfos brings another pshat in the name of Rashi and Nachis. We're talking about how much is hanging loose, the bottom section of the strings. How much is it? How long? 4 etzbois. We'll say 3. And when we speak about the 3 here, we're talking about the finger which comprises a quarter of a tevach, which is the thumb. That's one application to this formula. It was related regarding a different matter. L'shtei amos, 2 sticks, 2 yardsticks for measuring purposes. The snan shtei amos, there were 2 of these sticks. Hayu, v'shushan habira. We turn to the next time. A place in the Beis Hamikdash called Shushan habira. It was above the eastern entry, and it was called as such because there was a picture there on the wall of Shushan, back in Paras. The point was to remind them where they came from, to be Makar to Hashem for giving us the opportunity to come back, making all the nisim. Another pshat is to show gratitude, to feel thankful to the authorities for allowing them to come into Eretz Yisrael and rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. So in any case, we had 2 sticks there, 2 measuring sticks, which were used as as a point of reference for the standard amma. So there were 2 of them. Achas, one on this corner, one on the other corner of the room. Achas akar mizrachas shvayim, one was mizrach tzafin room of the room. Achas, the other one was on the other corner. Al karas mizrachas shvayim is sitting in the other corner of the room. Shakar mizrachas shvayim. It's funny. The one on this side was bigger than the standard. They knew the Am of Moshe Rabbeinu, and this was bigger, longer than that, a half for etzba. In the east, so the eastern corner, we had another one which was even bigger, a super jumbo Am. Was bigger than this one by a half a finger, for a total of a full finger above and beyond Moshe Rabbeinu standard. Why did he need 2? The answer is like this. It was meant for committing the contractors to this amount of work. The point was to avoid me'ilah. So you would contract with the ummah, with the craftsman, build, make, based on the smaller stick. Rashi explains here we're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu's size. So they committed to the actual standard, the actual size, Moshe Rabbeinu's. Noitlan, they would commit Biktana. They would take the job based on the smaller. But they would actually give you more. Their work would reflect the bigger size. Why? Because you never know. Maybe they were, something lacking in their work. We don't want to risk any form of misusing, hegdish funds. This way, they give back a bit more, recover any possible, shortcomings. Shouldn't come to Me'ilah. Now the question is fine, but why do you need 2 jumbos? Tarti lamali, one a little bit more, one even bigger. What's the point? Depending on the cost of the material. Chada the kaspa dahav. The smaller one was meant for gold and silver. So you hired them to do some, gilding, and it's unfair to ask of them to return, to produce a full finger more than they have to. So for that, we had the half finger. The other one's meant for building purposes, where the material isn't, is relatively inexpensive, so therefore, they were required to give you based on the super jumbo stick. So again, we have the term etzba, which refers to the thumb, as mentioned. Third application to this formula that the etzba is referring to a thumb, regarding our Mishnah. The gaps in the between the section of the tail is kamalai etzba. Which finger? Sheish basar ben chol yichum lay etzba. We're talking about a thumb. Okay, so in a nutshell, we had a formula that the lashon etzba discussed in halachas refers to a thumb. We had three applications: tzitzis, shushan abira, and the bechor. All the best to you, and tzlachar.